Hi everyone, welcome to the third webinar of a series of webinars conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming CIMA Management Case Study Examinations happening in February 2023. My name is Nick and I'm one of the lead tutors and evaluators for MCS at TCS. So looking at the session outcomes, tonight's session is going to be the shortest out of the three sessions. So in this session, I'm going to take you through examiner's comments because it's of utmost importance that you understand the mindset of the examiner. By understanding the mindset of the examiner, you are in a position to figure out what is expected out of you. And once you know what's expected out of you, you know how to score marks appropriately and without much of a hassle. So that's why I'm going to take you through the examiner's comments. Then at the latter part of tonight's session, I'll also talk about what you need to do to develop confidence before the exam. And on top of that, I will also be talking about what you need to do to maintain the same level of confidence or a positive attitude on the day of the exam as well, because as per the CIMA examiner, students who have a positive attitude on the day of the exam as well as before the exam end up passing the MCS examination comfortably. So that's what I'm going to cover tonight. So we have already had two webinars, and this is the third webinar which is happening right now. So if you had missed out on the previous two webinars, I want you guys to check them out. You can simply go to our website and refer to the free content, and under the free content, the recorded versions of the previous two webinars are already uploaded, and after tonight's webinar is done, the recorded version will be uploaded under the free content. So if you had missed out on any of the webinars, please do go and check out these videos. Then according to the study plan, we are in the you guys are supposed to kickstart the fourth week, and you should have already attempted 3 mocks by now. If you are yet to attempt mock exams, it's high time you do it, because you have only 3 weeks at your disposal. And out of these 3 weeks, I want you guys in the 6th week or the final week, which leads up to the exam, I want you guys to relax a lot. I do not want you guys to attempt mock exams. I've highlighted this in webinar number 1 and webinar number 2 as well. So if you're yet to start attempting mock exams, you have to do it right now. Just because you attempt just 1 or 2 mocks, you cannot pass this exam. You need to ensure that the entire syllabus is covered. We have developed 5 mock exams covering the entire syllabus, so you won't see any question which does not appear on our mocks at the real exam. So in order to get yourselves comfortable with the type of scenarios or the questions thrown at you at the real exam, you have to start attempting mocks. So in week number 4, what are you supposed to do? Attempt mock number 4 under simulated exam conditions, and you are supposed to refer to the personalized tutor feedback for mock number 4, which you'd receive within 48 hours. And you are supposed to watch the video lecture where I'm explaining the answers for answers pertaining to mock number 4. So what you're supposed to do is, let's assume you attempt mock number 4 on Tuesday. By Thursday, you'd get your feedback or the with regards to your answer script or the personalized tutor feedback. And then you are in a position to figure out where you had gone wrong, what your shortcomings are. And we have already provided short notes or answer plans for each and every mock, starting from mock 3 up until mock number 5. So you are simply supposed to refer to the answer plan pertaining to mock number 4 and compare it to your answer and see where your shortcomings are. So you are actually rechecking your answer twice. You are going through the personalized feedback which we have provided, and on top of that, you are going through the answer plans which we have provided. By doing that, it's as if you are practicing the same mock again and again. It's as if within a week you had practiced the same mock thrice. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do. And if you're still thinking of investing on mock exams, it's high time you do it, because you don't have enough time. You're actually running out of time. It's prudent for you guys to invest on exam standard mocks right now. And always remember, 31st Jan is your deadline, which is the coming Tuesday. In another 2 days time, the exam entry closes. So if you are planning to do your MCS exam in Feb, then you need to book your exam before Tuesday, or else you'd have to postpone all your studies up until May. All right, so let's look at what the examiner wants you to achieve when providing answers. So let's look at the tips provided. Good answers require relevance to the requirement. So I highlighted this point in the second webinar when I was taking you through answer planning technique, and I displayed answer planning technique in a practical manner by referring to a mini mock. So in that session as well, I highlighted this point. When coming up with answers, or when developing answers, you need to make sure that it is totally aligned with the requirement which is highlighted in the question. You cannot do something, or you cannot provide an answer which goes against the requirement, or which is not in line with the requirement. You have to spend some time to understand the requirement 100%, or else you can't gain full marks. And when providing answers, you need to show to the examiner that you possess some technical knowledge pertaining to E2, P2, and F2 related syllabus content. And on top of that, just because you know your E2, P2, and F2, you can't pass this exam. Just by reiterating theories, you cannot pass this exam. You need to know how to apply this knowledge to a specific scenario. So a scenario is provided as part of the question, and there's a requirement provided. You need to understand the requirement. And when providing answers, you need to bring in technical knowledge or theoretical knowledge. And on top of that, when bringing in theoretical knowledge, you need to apply it to the scenario at all times, or else you won't get marks. And you need to provide well-structured answers. In order to develop well-structured answers, you need to stick to our answer planning technique. If you are not yet conversant about this answer planning technique, I urge you to watch the recorded version of the second webinar, where I highlighted an answer planning technique. And under the free content, you can access a separate document, a PDF document, which carries all the information pertaining to what you need to do when it comes to developing answer plans. So you need to spend some time to develop answer plans. I'm not saying it, it's the CIMA examiner who is saying it. And on top of that, when providing answers, you need to provide your answers in paragraphs. I highlighted this point again in webinar number 2. You are not supposed to provide answers in bullet points. You are not supposed to provide answers in single line sentences. Instead, you need to use paragraphs. So for instance, if in your answer plan there are 7 points which we have highlighted, you need to have 7 paragraphs. So why am I asking you guys, or why is the CIMA examiner actually asking you guys to develop answers in paragraphs? Because if you come up with paragraphs per answer point, for each and every answer point, if you can come up with a paragraph, then it makes the invigilator's life easier. Okay, when marking your answer script, if you had written the entire answer within one single paragraph, the invigilator will have to read each and every word to figure out how many points are there in your answer, what type of points had been brought out, are these points valid to the requirement or not, have you applied theoretical knowledge? So there's a lot on the plate when it comes to marking a paper. So in order to make the invigilator's life easy, divide your answer into paragraphs appropriately. If you have 7 answer points within your answer plan, you need to have 7 paragraphs. Then the invigilator can easily give you marks. The invigilator would have some type of positivity when marking your paper. And this positivity is going to be extremely beneficial for you, because you'd end up gaining a lot of marks at the exam. And whenever you are providing or coming up with some type of an argument, you need to provide a justification. Whenever you are recommending something, you have to back it up with an appropriate justification, or else you won't get marks. So this is what you need to do in order to come up with a good answer. Almost all the points were covered in the second webinar, which we did 2 weeks back. All right, then before the exam, what are you supposed to do? So the CIMA examiner tells you to study all areas of the syllabus. So I've seen so many tutors out there who would say, okay, you can leave out this area, this is not tested and whatnot. You cannot predict something like that, because any area out of E2, P2 and F2 syllabuses can be tested. So rather than going back to your books and or study packs and trying to go through theories again, I would ask you to simply refer to our revision cards which we have provided pertaining to E2, P2 and F2. If you go through these revision cards, you are in a position to easily brush up your knowledge in these areas. And on top of that, as I told you earlier, when developing our mock exams, we had made sure to cover the entire syllabus. So if you attempt all 5 mock exams, it's as if you are covering the entire syllabus. Okay, so this part is done. Then you need to apply to the scenario again. You need to practice this technique, practice and see how you can apply, or when providing an answer, how you can achieve a high level of application, how you can gain marks for application, as well as how you can gain marks by bringing in technical knowledge or theoretical content. Okay, and in order to do this, you need to practice tasks. And when practicing tasks, the examiner wants you to type or write full answers. Okay, I highlighted this point in webinar number 1 and 2. When attempting mock exams, most students, what they do is they spread it across several days. So you'd attempt task number 1 on Monday, task number 2 on Tuesday, task number 3 on Wednesday, and so on. You are not supposed to do it, because at the real exam, you have to sit in one place and attempt the entire paper in one go. So you need to get accustomed to this scenario. You need to get yourself accustomed to sitting in one place for 3 hours and attempting the entire paper in one go. Okay, so that's exactly why the examiner wants you to practice tasks. So the only way to pass the MCS exam is to attempt mock exams. So when attempting these mock exams, I want you guys to keep practicing the answer planning technique, which I taught you in the previous webinar. Okay, so if you attempt 5 mock exams, you'd be attempting 20 tasks in total. Then you'd be developing 20 answer plans. So once you develop 20 answer plans on your own, then that's enough and more practice, which will ensure that you are in a position to replicate the same answer planning technique at your real exam. And if you do, you'd come up with well-structured answers, high quality answers. You'd spend some time to think before you type your entire answer. Okay, so when you allocate some time to think, then the quality of your answer improves. And on top of that, if you stick to this answering technique, you will manage your time appropriately as well. Most students who fail the MCS exam, they end up providing half-hearted answers or incomplete answers. And once the invigilator sees an incomplete answer, or once the invigilator knows that you have not managed your time appropriately, then your chances of passing the exam becomes extremely low. So in order to avoid all these things, stick to the answer planning technique, which we highlighted. If you do that, the quality of your answers will significantly improve. You will provide well-structured answers. And on top of that, you are in a position to manage your time appropriately as well. So that's exactly what the CIMA examiner is telling you to do before the exam. So if you are yet to attempt any mock exams, nothing doing, you have to start attempting mocks right now. Just because you go through the pre-scene, just because you are really conversant with theoretical areas, you're not going to pass your exam unless and otherwise you attempt mock exams. That's exactly what the CIMA examiner is asking you to do. It's better to listen to the examiner. And what are you supposed to do during the exam? So when attempting your exam, you are supposed to plan your answers. Again, answer planning technique comes into the picture. So during the exam, if you allocate 5 minutes to read the requirement or read the scenario, and then if you allocate 15 to 20 minutes to develop the answer plan for the entire task, then you would have enough time to type the answer, taking 25 minutes of your time. I'm going to talk about it later on as well. I've displayed how to do this in a practical sense in webinar number 2. So if you missed out on it, you have to definitely watch the recorded version of webinar number 2. So you are supposed to plan your answers, and the marker is, according to the examiner, the marker is under strict instructions to mark answers on their merits. So the marker is picking quality over quantity. Just because you provide a lengthy answer, you're not going to get marks unless and otherwise your answer is totally aligned to the requirement. Unless and otherwise you are you have brought in appropriate theoretical knowledge, and if you you need to know how to apply this theoretical knowledge when developing your answers. So the only way to improve this is to attempt mock exams under simulated exam conditions. And every time you develop an answer, practice the answer planning technique, then you are in a position to come up with better quality answers. Okay. All right, so let's look at the marking criteria. 2 markers will allocate marks before the final mark is finalized. Why is CIMA doing this? To achieve a high level of transparency and to get rid of any undue bias. When 2 markers are allocating marks, both the marks will be added and the average will become your final mark. And the mark allocation for each subtask appears as a percentage under each requirement. So I highlighted this point in the previous webinar. I showed you a mini mock, and I explained what this weightage is, and based on this weightage, I said you are in a position to determine how many marks are allocated. And when you know the mark allocation on a task by task basis, you know how many points you are in a position to figure out how many points need to appear within your answer plan. So you are supposed to watch the recorded version of webinar number 2, answering technique, to understand how to do this. And marks, again, I'm highlighting that marks are allocated based on merit. So the examiner is picking quality over quantity. How can you come up with a high quality answer? By developing answer plans. All right. So having said that, having understood what the examiner requests from you, what I need to say is we have covered all these things. So I went through several points made by the examiner, and all these points have been covered in the previous 2 webinars which we have conducted, especially in webinar number 2. So if you missed out on it, it's of utmost importance that you watch it and replicate the same methodology when attempting your mock exams. All right, so the second part of tonight's webinar is about developing confidence, because as I told you earlier, confident students end up acing the MCS exam, because especially at the MCS exam, there is some type of practicality coming in. If you're coming from, if you had attempted the OCS exam, you know for a fact it's a highly technical paper. There's not much of practical thinking involved. If you know your theories, then you can easily pass your OCS exam. But when it comes to the MCS exam, 50% of theory is tested, and 50% of your paper consists of practical decision making or practical thinking. So if you are to provide or come up with better recommendations, or if you are to come up with better decisions, you need to have a positive mindset. Or else, if you are under a lot of stress, you can't think straight. And when you can't think straight, you cannot provide the appropriate answers. Okay, so what are you supposed to do to develop confidence before the exam? Stick to the study plan. I hope you would have stuck to the study plan which we provided. I displayed the study plan previously as well. We had broken down all your activities which you need to do when it comes to preparing for your exam into 6 weeks, and on a weekly basis we have mentioned what you need to do. If you still haven't gone through the study plan, or if you had not started anything, or if you are not attempted any mock exams, you should focus on attempting mock exams right now, because you don't have time to do anything else. You just have 2.5 weeks at your disposal. So within the upcoming 2 weeks, you should be really focused on attempting mock exams. And so that's about sticking to a study plan. If you had not stuck to the study plan, now it's too late to do everything under the sun. Focus only on attempting the mock exams. Why? Because all the other material have been provided by us. So our objective is to ensure that we create a scenario where the workload of the student is extremely less. Okay, your on a weekly basis, if you had gone through the study plan, your objective should be to, or your responsibility is to attempt a mock per week, just allocating 3 hours of your time. Everything else is handled by us. Okay, still it's not too late. If you had not attempted mocks, maybe you can start attempting mocks in the coming week. In the upcoming week, you can attempt 3 mocks, and in the 5th week attempt 2 mocks, thereby attempting all 5 mocks which we have provided. And stick to a routine, not just when it comes to preparing for your exam, but stick to a routine in the upcoming 2.5 weeks. Wake up at a certain time and sleep at a certain time. Try to get 6 hours of continuous sleep. Most students, when they are closer to a competitive exam such as CIMA, what they do is, they don't sleep properly, and that is not going to be beneficial for you, because when you do not sleep properly, you can't have a positive mindset, because you'd see the entire preparatory process as a grueling exercise. And once that is the case, stress sets in, and that's not going to help you at the real exam. And if you cannot wake up and sleep at a specific time period, try to fix your daily meal intake. Have your breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a specific time. Then your body would know that you are trying to stick to a routine. Then your body clock would make you fall asleep and make you wake up at an appropriate time in the morning. Okay, so stick to a routine in these areas, because you might be thinking why I'm talking about sleeping, waking up, and the meal intakes, because if you do these things right, then you are in a position to easily develop a positive mindset. And if you have a positive mindset on a general sense, then that would reflect in your answers as well. And when practicing mock exams, what are you supposed to do? Practice under simulated exam conditions. So as I told you earlier, you are not supposed to break down each and every task or attempt tasks on a day-by-day basis. Instead, you have to sit in one place, isolate yourself, allocate 3 hours, and attempt a mock exam in one go, just like you do at the real exam. So in order to get accustomed or to simulate exam conditions, you can attempt all 5 mock exams via our exam platform. So if you had invested on value or value plus packages, you'd have this opportunity to attempt all 5 mock exams under our exam platform under real exam conditions, and attempt mocks in isolation, as I told you earlier. And whenever you are attempting mocks, stick to the exam technique routine. You can't simply do it at the exam. You have to practice it. So many students who stick to our study plan, what they do is, what they tell us is, when they're attempting mocks 1 and 2, they run out of time. That is normal, because you are attempting the answer planning technique, or you are practicing the answer planning technique for the first time. So in such a context, you are not in a position to manage your time appropriately. That's pretty basic. That's normal. you are doing something for the first time. But from mock 3 onwards, once you had gotten your bearings with the answer planning technique, you'd find out that you are in a position to come up with well-structured answers. At the same time, save your time or manage your time appropriately. So you need to keep on practicing this over and over again. So 20 minutes should be allocated towards reading the question and developing the answer plan for the entire task. So 5 minutes should be allocated towards reading the question. 15 minutes should be allocated towards developing the answer plan for the entire task. And the remaining 25 minutes can be allocated towards typing the answer. When you are typing the answer, you are not supposed to think or spend time on thinking. Instead, since you have the answer plan, it's just a matter of expanding the answer points which you have highlighted within your answer plan. So I've displayed how to do this in webinar number 2 in a practical sense. So go watch it if you missed out on it. So if when practicing mock exams, definitely you need to adhere to these guidelines. And if you do, then at the real exam, you'd find it extremely easy to replicate the same answering technique. So that's what you're supposed to do to develop confidence before the exam. So what are you supposed to do to maintain the same level of confidence on the day of the exam? Because, just because you were confident before the exam, it does not mean that you are going to have a positive mindset on the day of the exam, because on the day of the exam, usually students encounter a certain level of stress. Me as a student, I could remember on the day of the exam, I felt nauseous. Okay, I've not only studied CIMA, I've studied some other qualifications so as well. However, whenever there was a CIMA examination, I felt nauseous. That's pretty basic. Even though I've done my work before the exam, on the day of the exam, you feel butterflies in your stomach, you feel stressed out. That's pretty basic. So what are you supposed to do to achieve a positive mindset or achieve positivity on the day of the exam? Before the exam, rest your mind and body. Okay, so that's exactly what we have highlighted. Let me take you to the 6-week study plan. So that's exactly what we have tried to achieve by developing the study plan. As you can see, in the last week, which starts from the 12th of February, up until your exam day, you are supposed to refer to study material, financial analysis slides, industrial analysis slides, top 10 issues, then refer to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams. So out of the 5 mock exams, 3 answer plans have been provided by us in order to ensure that students practice their answer planning technique. We have asked you to develop answer plans for mocks 1 and 2. So by this time, you would have answer plans or answer summaries of all 5 mock exams. You are simply supposed to go through these summaries. So when you go through these summaries, you will be going through all theoretical areas which can be tested. So you'd be revising the entire syllabus, and on top of that, you'd understand or you'd be reminding yourself again and again about how application, how you can gain marks for application. Okay, so you are simply supposed to refer to the answer plans of all 5 mock exams, refer to the annotated pre-scene one last time, watch the recorded version of this webinar, and stop all work a day prior to the exam, sleep, eat, and rest well. So if you are doing your exam on the 15th of February, you are supposed to finish all your work by the 14th, take a break, not by the 14th, by the 13th. If you are doing your exam on the 15th, you have to stop all your work by the 13th. 14th of February needs to be a day off. Relax your mind and body and walk into the exam with an open mind. Okay, so that's exactly what I've highlighted here as well. Rest your mind and body, and do not refer to any study material, mocks, or answer plans on the day of the exam or a day prior to the exam as well, because you are supposed to relax your mind and body. Okay, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. In a real life corporate environment, you are not in a position to predict what type of issues the company would face, what type of guidance you would have to provide, what type of recommendations you would have to provide to board members. You won't know about these things. So there's absolutely no point of worrying about these things. A day prior to the exam as well as on the day of the exam, you are supposed to rest your mind and body. Do not refer to any study material, mocks or answer plans. You are supposed to do these things before when you are preparing for the exam. Okay, think that you are the finance manager at Happy Place, because as if you feel that you are the finance manager, then when developing answers, you'd always think, okay, if I'm reporting to my senior finance manager, what type of an answer would I come up with? This is the problem faced by the company. Based on this problem, what type of solutions would I provide? You'd think in a practical manner when you think that you are the finance manager at Happy Place. And it's, as I told you earlier, it's pretty basic to feel a bit negative or under the sun on the day of the exam. Just let go of this negativity. Okay, I will be talking about what you need to do to let go of the negativity, and try to be open-minded on the day of the exam, because in a real life corporate environment, if you are open-minded, you would come up with better solutions. So if you can replicate the similar scenario on the day of the exam, then you can easily pass the exam. During the exam, what are you supposed to do? Stick to the exam technique routine. 20 minutes to read and develop the answer plans, and 25 minutes to expand the answer plans, or to type your answers. And when you are attempting your examination, definitely you will feel stressed, because out of the 4 tasks, one of them is going to be extremely hard. You can't avoid it. That's how the exam is structured. So let's assume task number 1 is it's extremely easy, so you do a great job, but task number 2 is extremely hard. So that is these type of scenarios are created by the examiner to check whether you can handle pressure. Okay, definitely most of the students are not going to get good marks when a certain task is extremely hard. Okay, so just because one task is hard, it does not mean that you need to feel stressed. And if you feel stressed, you'd end up forgetting about the answering technique. You'd end up providing an answer which is rushed, and you try to forget about answering technique and start typing. Once you panic, these things happen. You might try to start typing the answer straight away, but that's not going to help you, because halfway through you might realize that you are headed in the wrong direction. Then you'd have to delete the answer, go back, think again, and you'd be wasting a lot of time. So panic leads to you wasting your time. And once you know that you did not do a good job in task number 2, this level of stress is brought forward in when you are attempting tasks 3 and 4 as well. You have to try and avoid it, because there will be definitely, out of the 4 tasks, one of the tasks will be extremely hard. But don't get pressurized about it, because you are only supposed to get 80 marks out of 150. You are not supposed to gain full marks for any of the questions which you are attempting. So if you feel stressed, drink some water. That's the best thing to do, because it will help calm your nerves. And on top of that, close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes, because then you'd have an appropriate intake of oxygen, and that's going to help your brain. That's going to help calm your nerves down. So close your eyes and breathe slowly for 2 minutes. You might think that you're wasting your time. Not exactly. It's easier when you focus on your breathing. It's easier to calm your nerves. There's this certain part of our brain which is known as the amygdala. Amygdala kicks in when we are stressed, and the signals which the amygdala gives us is always wrong, not the rational signals. It would give us the emotional signals. So to shut down the amygdala, the best thing to do is to focus on your breathing. So do this for 2 minutes, then you will bounce back. If you feel stressed, do this for 2 minutes, then you will feel that the stress is no longer there. Remind yourself that you have done your homework. You can only do this if you had actually done your homework, if you had actually attempted 5 mock exams, if you had stuck to our study plan, then you can do this. And remind yourself that you need just 80 marks to pass. You cannot um, provide successful answers to all the tasks or the subtasks which you are attempting. There could be subtasks which are extremely hard. You have to keep moving forward, because you are not supposed to get 150 out of 150. Instead, you are only supposed to get 54% or just 80 marks to pass the exam. And always try to give your best shot and be open-minded, because if you are open-minded, the quality of your recommendations will be far better than somebody who is narrow-minded. Okay, and try to give your best shot, because as a finance manager at Happy Playz, you'll on a daily basis, continuously, you try to give your best shot. You try to give your best to the company. That's exactly what is expected at your exam as well. All right, so that's what you're supposed to do. And I'm asking you guys to avoid deflections as well. Closer to the exam, people panic, and because of this, you try to do too much. Just stick to the study plan, just stick to the study material which we have provided, then you can easily pass. Okay, there's absolutely no point of going through the exam blueprint or over emphasizing on the exam blueprint. We have covered all the necessary information which appears within the exam blueprint is covered through the 3 webinars which we have done. Okay, so you need not go through the exam blueprint. And over reliance on predictions, as I told you earlier, I've seen so many tutors out there who would predict certain outcomes or certain questions or certain scenarios. You can't do this. Okay, the examiner provides some type of hints within the pre-scene, and based on these hints, you can say what type of a scenario can be tested, but you cannot predict any syllabus area which can be tested, or any type of technical area which can be tested at the exam. So don't rely on predictions. Instead, refer to the study material which we have provided, attempt the 5 mock exams. That's what we're supposed to do. Everything else is taken care of by us. And excessive industry analysis is a killer. You need not know about the industry too much, because you are playing the role of a finance manager. If you're at the SCS level, yes, you need to know about the industry, but as a finance manager, you're not supposed to be involved with an outside-in approach. Instead, you are controlling the internal dynamics of the company. So in such a context, you need not know too much about the industry. So simply go through the annotated pre-scene which we have provided. Simply go through the second video out of the 4 pre-scene analysis videos. The second video is about an industry analysis. Simply go through that and refer to the slides which we have provided pertaining to industry analysis. Just 12 to 15 slides are provided. Once you do it, that's you would gain all the necessary information about what happens within the industry. And misguided use of past papers needs to be avoided as well. Most students, what they do is, rather than investing on mock exams which are relevant to the pre-scene, what they do is they rely totally on past papers. Just because you do past papers, you can't pass the exam. Why? Because these past papers or the past variants are based on a different pre-scene. So the dynamics which are highlighted within these different pre-scenes are totally different to what you would see within your pre-scene, which is relevant for February 2023. Okay, so you can't pass the exam if you go through past variants. Instead, it's prudent for you guys to attempt mock exams which are relevant to your pre-scene. And information overload becomes a killer. Especially I've seen this with Asian and African students closer to the exam. These students, there's a tendency for you guys to panic a lot, and panic leads to stress. You try to do everything under the sun. That's not necessary. Simply refer to the study material which we have provided, then you would possess all the knowledge as well as information about the pre-scene. And on top of that, by attempting our mock exams, you are in a position to figure out what type of answers you are supposed to provide at the real exam. So these type of deflections are supposed to be avoided, because once you come closer to the exam, these problems would arise. So try to avoid them as much as possible. All right, so having said all these things, let me talk about what we offer at TCS. So I'm in the MCS page. You can check out our free content by clicking on this button. Under the free content, you'd gain access to the 3 recorded versions of the webinars. And out of the 4 pre-scene analysis videos, we have provided access to one of the pre-scene analysis videos, so that you get an understanding about what type of an analysis is provided. And on top of that, you would get your hands on the mini mock, MCS mini mock, the suggested answer, as well as its answer plan. So all these things come under the free content. And check out our sample material as well before you purchase or invest on our products. So these are I was talking about industry analysis slides. So these are the type of slides you'd get your hands on. So these industry analysis slides have been developed based on real life industry dynamics, so that you are in a position to gain some additional knowledge about the industry in which Happy Playz operates in. Okay. But we have made sure to keep it concise, so that you are not bombarded with too much information. And the same could be said about financial analysis slides as well. So we have analyzed all the financial statements provided within your pre-scene. And on top of that, a ratio analysis has been conducted. So all the ratios has been analyzed in depth in a concise manner, so that you can easily remember the numbers which appear within the financial statements. And based on these numbers, you are in a position to understand the performance of the company. And on top of that, we provide one-to-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5, and these are the type of tutor feedback which we provide. As you can see, in-depth explanations have been provided, and shortcomings have all types of shortcomings have been highlighted. And at the very end of the paper, we will be providing mark breakdowns as well, which will help you to figure out what your shortcomings are. And when you are going through the answer plans, you can focus on these areas where you have not gotten marks really well. Then you are in a position to further improve your chances of passing the exam. All right. And talking about what we offer 4 main packages, namely the essential, value, and the essential plus, and the value plus packages. So let me go through the essential pack first. This is priced at £99. If you refer to the essential pack, or if you invest on the essential pack, you would get your hands on the recorded versions of the 3 webinars, 5 mock exams with suggested answers, which is the most important service which comes under this product. And you'd get your hands on the full pre-scene analysis videos, 4 videos in total. We are providing something called the annotated pre-scene. So this is what an annotated pre-scene looks like. As you can see, annotations are provided, thereby summarizing the entire pre-scene. And we have brought out the most important points, so that you can easily remember the areas which are tested. And on top of that, if there are any hints provided by the examiner, these are highlighted within the annotations along with any theoretical content which can be tested as well. So that's what the annotated pre-scene is about. Then you would get your hands on the industry analysis, financial analysis, and top 10 likely issue slides. And you'd gain access to the case study familiarization kit as well. And this is priced at £99. And the value pack consists of all the material which I mentioned under the essential pack. On top of that, you'd have access to the online mock exam platform. So as I told you earlier, when attempting your mock exams, all 5 mock exams can be attempted under real life exam conditions, because when developing this mock exam platform, we had made sure to replicate the Pearson VUE system, which you would encounter at your real exam. So it's better to attempt all your mocks under real exam conditions before the exam, and you'd gain your you'd get professional marking and one-to-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5, and also you'd gain access to theory recaps pertaining to E2, P2, and F2 related syllabus content. By going through these theory recaps, you can easily polish up your knowledge about the theoretical content, and this is priced at £199. And we have 2+ packages, especially these are developed for students who are coming through an exemption route, such as the Master's Gateway or the FLP route. Most students, what we had encountered is most of the students coming through the exemption routes, they lack an appropriate level of knowledge about technical areas or theoretical content, because they have not done the OTQ exams. So if you are not too conversant with regards to theoretical content, then you have to invest on either the Essential Plus or the Value Plus package, because under each of these packages, you'd gain access to 12 master classes where the answers of mocks 3, 4, and 5 are explained. So through this explanation of these answers, we are teaching theory as well as application. As I told you earlier, the examiner wants you to come up with answers which are relevant to the requirement. And when providing answers, you need to display your theoretical knowledge as well as your skills pertaining to application. All these 3 areas are covered within these master classes. So by going through these master classes, you'd know, you'd learn theory, and you'd know how to apply theory to exam scenario. And on top of that, you would also learn how to gain marks by handling your technical areas as well as your application appropriately. So that's what comes under the plus packages. So under the Essential Plus package, all the material which comes with the Essential package plus the videos will be there. And on top of that, if you go for the Value Plus package, all the material which comes under the Value Pack plus the 12 videos will be there. So the prices are £175 and £275 respectively for Essential Plus and Value Plus packages. So if you had failed your exam previously, and if you're coming through an FLP route, go for the Value Plus package. Okay. And on top of that, if you're comfortable with 100% self-learning, if you had aced your OTQ exams, go for the Essential Pack. On the other hand, if you feel you need some type of mentoring, then go for the Value Pack. All right. And you can join our WhatsApp discussion forum by clicking on this button. Okay. So having said that, let me talk about the pass rate. We are proud to say that we achieved a pass rate of 93% last time. And out of these students, 9 of them were FLP students, and out of them, 6 of them got more than 100 marks. So your pass mark is 80, but our students who stuck to the study plan were able to achieve more than 100 marks. So that's exactly why we were able to achieve a high pass rate. Okay, so you might be attempting your exam at home. If that is the case, you have to click on this link and read the content thoroughly before the exam. You have to do this a week or 2 or 3 days before the exam. It's better to get yourself accustomed to the technical nitty-gritties pertaining to the exam. Don't try to do it on the day of the exam, because then you'd be stressed out. And try out the CIMA exam platform by following the guidelines. So before you attempt your real exam on the exam platform on the Pearson VUE system, it's better to try out the CIMA exam platform, a day or 2 before the exam. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do. Any questions before we wind up? Any questions, folks? You might have started attempting mock exams. So if you have any concerns pertaining to mocks or any information within the pre-scene or whatever, any type of question can be raised right now. All right, seems like there aren't any questions. So it brings us to the end of the session. You can contact us via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or drop us an email or simply WhatsApp us on this number. We are more than ready to help you. And I urge you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially check out our blog posts. You can easily check out the blog posts by clicking on this button on our website. Then you'd gain information about all the technical nitty-gritties pertaining to your exam, how to ace your exam comfortably. All these things are covered. And on top of that, check out our TikTok handle, because we have already provided three TikTok videos summarizing the entire pre-scene within 9 minutes. Okay, so I urge you guys to follow our TikTok handle and check out the three videos, because on a continuous basis, on a daily basis, if you keep on watching these three videos, then you need not do anything else to remember the most important points which are highlighted within your pre-scene. So having said that, it brings us to the end of the third and final webinar. I hope you have gained something out of these three webinars which we have conducted. If you missed out on any of the webinars, please go check out the recorded versions, especially the second webinar, because in that I'm highlighting answering technique. Keep using our free content which we have provided. Keep practicing the answer planning technique. Feel confident. Don't feel or negative on the day of the exam. Don't be stressed too much. Try to finish off all your work within the coming 2 weeks rather than waiting until the last minute. So having said that, I wish you all the very best for the upcoming exam. Just keep practicing what we have discussed, then you can easily pass your examination. And last but not least, if you are yet to invest on mock exams, you have to do it right now, because if not, you are not in a position to pass the exam. You have to attempt 5 exam standard mock exams. So all the very best. Thank you very much for joining in. Good night and take care.